Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Gal from OO-CAT team in Operations Orchestration RnD team. Today's topic is SAP automation. Our two presenters are Peter, Chief Technologist from HPE, and George from Operations Orchestration RnD. At the end of this webinar, I will be sending the chat a short survey for you to complete. Please take 2 minutes to complete it. It will help us improve in the future. And Peter, you can start.
Sorry, can you hear me? Can you see the slides?
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so hello everybody. Sorry for the technology issues at the beginning, as usual in that internet world. As Gal said, Peter Gibbels is my name. I will kick it off now from a technical point of view. I'm working as a Chief Technologist within HPE Software on SAP, and I'm doing, I work for Hewlett Packard Enterprise for 20 or 31 years, but 22 years in the SAP ecosystem. And today is the second webinar around operation orchestration and content in a row. Last time we talked about, automation of provisioning of SAP Landscape. And today we talk about something that is called, operation orchestration, our product, and SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager. And so basically we put together an agenda. I hope you find it interesting. So at the beginning, I will a little bit repeat what we did last time to bring everybody up to speed. And then for those on the line, and I know that some know SAP, some not, some SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager basics. Basically, these, and then followed by topics that George will address. We have somebody with the hands up. Hope there is nothing seriously. Some colleagues or some attendees putting their hands up. I'm not sure if you can follow up on this, and don't hope we have any technical issues again. So let me continue on the agenda point. So we have basically our IT for IT reference architecture that we work on, leverage, and also work with Open Group. We basically talk about today about an area we call a value chain request to fulfill. Define, publish, subscribe, fulfill, measure functional areas, and there are product alignments. The main one of today, operations orchestration with the SAP side with Landscape Virtualization Manager. And the topics we are working on with SAP for quite some time, and specifically now addressing SAP's transformation, modernizing the core of SAP's customers, and also moving into or transform their landscapes into HANA powered database, HANA is SAP's own in-memory database, into these modern landscapes SAP needs to run or to ramp up their whole new business suite. We are working with SAP and within Hewlett Packard Enterprise on different topics. You see it here on the right, addressing all these transformation areas. And And so we help with the automation piece also to bring customers from traditional environments to the private, to hosted, to public clouds. And doing this, we hand in gloves work together with SAP, also on new toolings. One of the domain controller that SAP has worked on over a couple of years already, also together with us and other partners, is SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager, which is an integral part of SAP's automation toolset. So within the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise solution architecture, specifically also around platform as a service solution architecture blueprint that you see here, a piece of, it is quite important that the customers who, go a transformation way, want to run SAP also on new kind of platforms, basically that we guide them with the appropriate architecture building blocks we have. The topic today with operation orchestration and SAP is in the area, as I mentioned before, request to fulfill. We talk about cloud automation, automation orchestration. How can customers consume SAP services? We did also in the last webinar with our cloud service automation. Then we are working on Helion OpenStack, OneView. These are components that link to the underlying HPE converged infrastructure resource pools, but also to third-party pools, and then again to the SAP side. So there is a larger reference architecture behind the scene we are working on. And again, today we drill down to one area with operation orchestration to address customer challenges in the SAP ecosystem. And these challenges are around, that they need to manage their virtualized and cloud infrastructure moving forward. It's all around virtualization in most of the areas nowadays. And basically, with HPE Operations Orchestration integration into SAP Landscape Virtualization Management, we want to help the customers to simplify their management, to reduce the time to market, to enable service request fulfillment, really to ramp up new business initiatives cost effectively, and to optimize the IT cost. These are some generic statements. So let me now bring you up to speed what SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager in the core offers to SAP's customers. And SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager is a tool set from SAP itself. SAP invented LVM to help customers to simplify their, centralized landscape operations, to get more visibility control over the deployed and installed, independent if this is manually or automatically done landscapes. And then the integration to non-SAP applications to IT, where we, from an HPE point of view, play a big role in partnership with SAP, and we can help you tailor, solutions to your need, customize the user context. That's to the point, simplify. Then automate provision SAP systems is a big topic nowadays. Add capacity, reduce it, make copies of existing environments for testing purposes, for evaluation purposes, to combine it with new applications from SAP. And then basically, automate repetitive basis admin tasks while systems are in operation, get additional notifications and feed it into the monitoring stream when events will happen. And so I hope that there's no serious issue. There's always one colleague putting his hands up, and so if you have any questions, please use the questions manager, and we will address them later. So the SAP Landscape Virtualization Manager has certain features coming from SAP directly. And so, as I mentioned, provisioning of SAP systems. A big area there is clone systems, copy, refresh system copies. There is a post-copy automation, which is another tool set of SAP that is bundled or can be bundled into SAP LVM to do, after copy cleansing of data in their ABAP or Java stack. SAP has an ABAP, their own language, and a Java stack, and this can both also coexist. Activities like rename systems go under that area, application server add-on provisioning also, and then landscape management. So the landscape management area of SAP LVM has different dashboards, some reporting, and so on. Then extensibility, that's a very important area for us to basically work together with LVM, call LVM as an intelligent domain controller, exchange information with SAP LVM in both directions. SAP itself bundle SAP LVM into packages. One is the standard edition that goes for free to SAP's customers with different features like start, stop, relocate systems, custom hooks, and George will come to that later. And then also the enterprise edition on top of it, which brings more sophisticated topics, including the post-copy automation, copy clone activities. For us, it's quite important, and that is our work we did together with SAP over the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years now, also with different business units on our side. We integrated our products with SAP, and today you get to hear a lot of the details, and George will show it, to assure that operations orchestration flows as kind of the common denominator on the HP software side, basically plug into the provisioning side of SAP LVM, plug into the landscape management to allow you to do single or mass operations remotely controlled via operation orchestration and orchestrated and coordinated with a lot of other activities that always have to go around, and things that we have to put in addition, like, SAP systems are often, very often, always connected to non-SAP systems, and all these orchestration can be managed by OO. Also, under the area of extensibility, custom operations, once the system is running, how do you maintain it? What is if there is an interruption? And LVM on the SAP side has certain features. There are other tools on the SAP side that offer different features like Solution Manager. And in this specific case, we can hook operation orchestration flows into SAP LVM to basically, allow us also to leverage those features that also George later will show. Summarize this from an operation orchestration point of view. The LVM architecture piece is an important building block that we use in the overall Hewlett-Packard Enterprise architecture with SAP. And so you see here, I marked a little bit the areas we will touch mainly today. Not saying there are no other areas. There are many others. And depending on where you are on your transformation curve, the maturity you have in your organizations, what you like to automate, you will pull one or the other topic. For the SAP LVM integration, it's mandatory that we talk or that we are able to connect to LVM. For this, LVM has different API layers. And from an HPE point of view, we address these layers. And today we will basically introduce to you the layer that we now added to connect operation orchestration to SAP LVM. And SAP LVM, for those of you who are not so in the SAP space, LVM, Software Provisioning Manager, Virtual SAP Appliances Solution Manager, these are all tools that SAP has to manage their platforms. But SAP is famous for their business applications. That's the suite here on the right. So the whole purpose of these automation engines is to assure that the end user, the end consumer, ideally, via products, can get access to all SAP business applications at any given time, or can request new services as they go. So I hope this works. Sorry, I was a little confused with some pop-up windows that were popping up all the time, and this makes me always nervous because I don't know if the room works or not. But with that, I would like to hand it over to George, to my colleague. And George, I will stop my screen, and please share your screen.
Okay, thank you, Peter, and hello, everyone. Switching to my desktop. So can you see the slides? Everything okay?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, thanks. So talking about the LVM API's use and the content pack structure, for the development of this integration, we've been using the REST and SOAP APIs exposed by LVM. With the REST API, we've created operations that allow the user to download and upload LVM configurations. The rest of the integration content is based on the services exposed by the SOAP API. This implies interaction with LVM provisioning templates, processes, and operations made on SAP systems and instances. The content pack consists in 5 folders covering the API services I just mentioned. Now I'm switching to Operations Orchestration Studio and show you the content pack structure that we've developed. The configurations folder contains the download and upload of LVM configurations. These two operations allow the user to save the configurations of an LVM environment into his file system and later upload them onto the LVM system. The main use case for these two operations is creating automated backups of your LVM system and also restore it through a similar automation process. The processes folder contains operations that allow the user to retrieve and monitor processes of LVM operations. In case you've triggered a start, stop, or restart operation from operations orchestration, a process ID is returned by that operation that can be later used to gather all the details of that process and also monitor the progress of that process. The get processes of state operations allows the OO user to create detailed reports regarding all the processes that are currently running and the ones that have terminated their execution. The SAP Instances folder contains operations that execute start, stop, and restart operations on SAP instances. An operation can execute the same start operation, for example, on a single SAP instance or on multiple. So we have support also for mass operations on instances. The folder also contains a flow that assesses the status of an SAP instance by gathering information from the SAP host agent installed on the host machine. The SAP Systems folder contains flows that provision an SAP system. The provisioning operations is executing according to a provided provisioning template and the placeholders used to parameterize the execution of that provisioning template. I will get to provisioning placeholders in a minute. Besides the copy, clone, refresh flows, the folder also provides operations and flows for retrieving existing validation issues of an SAP system. The templates folder allows the user to interact with provisioning templates from LVM. The template creation can be done only from LVM side, but listing, downloading, executing, updating, and deleting provisioning templates can be automated from operations orchestration. I will show you how you can create a provisioning template from LVM's user interface. So now I'm switching to LVM. And if I go into the automation panel, in the provisioning panel, now I will choose for which system do I want to create the provisioning template. So for instance, if I click this SAP system, and here I have the available provisioning operations. So if I want to create a provisioning template for a clone operation, I have these configuration steps to complete. So here I have basic data of the target system. I will try to get to the end as fast as possible. As you know, LVM uses a connector to connect to your virtualization or storage infrastructure. In our case, we have a VMware infrastructure. So it connects to the hypervisor, and you can select your virtual host that will be later used to actually install that SAP system on. So you provide the name for your virtual target. Then go to the next step. These are all information taken from your VMware manager. You select the data storage. It provides information about the percentage of utilization, so you can select a most appropriate data storage. And proceeding to the next step, you also can select an operating system that you want that virtual machine to have. So the LVM will install that SAP system over it. In this instance, I've selected the Linux operating system. Going forward, I will get a summary of all the configurations that I've selected. Not yet. Okay, it's a summary with all the setups. And now I can choose to start this cloning or save the template or save and execute this template. I will save this template for now and show to you how it looks. Okay, then I will export it because now it's only saved in LVM's database. Okay. So this is a provisioning template. So it's an XML file. And once the provisioning template is created, you execute it and LVM will create the desired system. If you execute it the second time, you will get the same system because the template has not changed. So LVM will tell you that it can't provision the system because it already exists. This is why LVM created the placeholders functionality, which enables the user to parameterize the execution of a provisioning template. If you want to change some values in the template at runtime, you must replace those values with placeholders. And as you see here, the placeholders element is empty. And this is how a template with placeholders looks like. So I've added placeholders for covering basic data of the target system and data used when creating the virtual machine that will host the SAP system. The placeholders currently have a default value, but their value is meant to be assigned when the template is being executed. Okay, next I'm going to the custom hooks functionality. So the next slide. We also took advantage with the disintegration of this feature provided by LVM. Custom hooks help extend the out-of-the-box functionality the SAP LVM delivers. They are defined to execute custom operations implicitly while starting or stopping services. A custom hook is automatically triggered by SAP LVM before or after a specific operation execution, or in case an error occurs during the execution of that operation. Therefore, the types of custom hooks are called pre-hooks, post-hooks, and error hooks. In our case, we use custom hooks to launch an O-flow that creates and updates information into an IT service or asset manager product such as HP Service Manager, HP Service Anywhere, or HP Asset Manager. HPE Operations Orchestration plays a key role into translating these custom hooks from LVM and performing the appropriate action on the ticketing manager. There are several steps involved in creating and executing custom hook operation. First, the definition is required for the configuration of a custom hook. This definition will then be referenced by the custom hook. A definition specifies what is being executed, and custom hooks specify when or under what circumstances it can be or is being executed. So, custom hooks and operations orchestration configuration. In order to execute an operations orchestration flow, we're using the HTTP POST type of implementation definition to access the REST API exposed by HPE OO Central. Through the URL of this HTTP request, we identify the OO flow by its name or universal unique identifier, and the flow inputs are provided as URL parameters. I'm going to switch to LVM's user interface to show you how custom hooks are set up. So here in the setup panel, I have the provider implementation definition, as I've told you, that needs to be defined earlier. Here you have the URL that identifies the flow that you want to execute, and as URL parameters, you specify run inputs for that specific flow, and you can also provide authentication details right here. Once you have your implementation definition defined, you go in the Custom Hooks tab, and here you add a new custom hook. Give it a name. You select the definition that you've set up earlier. One of the definitions. You select if you want this custom hook to be triggered on operations done on hosts or instances, and which type of operation will trigger the custom hook. You have a list to select from. I'm going to select stop right now. So in case a stop operation occurs, my custom hook will be triggered. And now I define at what point during this stop operation will the custom hook be triggered. So I have a pre-hook, so before, after, or in case an error occurs. And click Save. And now I have my custom hook defined. Whenever a stop operation is executing on an instance, this custom hook will be triggered, and my OO flow, which needs to be deployed on a central machine, will be triggered with the specified parameters here at the implementation definition. Switching back to the slides and going to our first main use case. So our first main use case for this integration we've called event management, is based on the custom hooks functionality. Therefore, this use case is event triggered by LVM and requires no interaction from the user. The user is actually notified by operations orchestration of the events that took place at the end of this use case. One instance of this use case would be the fact that an operation has been executed on one of the SAP systems managed by LVM, and due to an error, the system has stopped and an error hook is triggered by LVM. The error hook definition has an OO flow linked to it, which will then be triggered. The OO flow creates a service manager incident containing information on the disabled SAP system. Once the flow has created the HP Service Manager incident, it will execute the restart operation on the SAP system, and if it succeeded, then the Service Manager incident is updated and the IT Service Desk is notified with an email containing the Service Manager incident details. And switching to Operations Orchestration Studio, this is how an implementation of the first use case looks like. So this flow needs to be deployed on a central machine and will be triggered by an LVM custom hook. So in this instance, it will be triggered by an error hook. So something bad has happened with an SAP instance or an SAP system, and it will first create an incident into one of the ticketing managers you choose. For this use case, we've chosen Service Manager. It will attempt to restart the SAP instance, and get process details of the execution and also monitor the restart of execution. Once it concluded, it will update the incident with informations and also send an email to notify that an incident has been created and also update it with information. And an execution of this use case would look like this. So in LVM's user interface, in the setup panel, I have here an implementation definition and a custom hook defined, which will trigger my OO flow in Central. It's previously deployed on Central. In this case, it's an arrow hook for a stop operation. So if I trigger a stop operation on one of the SAP instances, and in case an error hook occurs, a custom hook will be triggered, which will launch the run of an OO flow in Central. So here I have my triggered OO flow completed. And as I've said, this flow created a service manager ticket and then notified the IT service desk that a ticket has been created. So I received an email from sent by this flow with the service manager ticket ID in it. So now if I copy this incident ID and go into service manager and search it by ID, I will find the incident that was created by OO flow because an error hook appeared in a stop execution of SAP instance. So the second use case handles the provisioning of an SAP system from a change management